Well, hey, welcome everyone to our Tuesday Doctor Clinic with Dr. Kurt Fisnick. We're here every Tuesday at noon live on this page, and you are welcome to join us each and every Tuesday.
Welcome to the call, Andrea. Thanks for being with me every Tuesday. You know, we've been discussing weight loss.
Yes, we have.
For the last couple of weeks. What do you think of that?
I think we've put out some good information for people to help them optimize their health.
Yeah, I think that, you know, every little bit of information that you get on why, you know, because, I mean, you can't just go up to somebody and say, hey, you're fat. That's not gonna help them lose weight, is it?
It won't work. No, it's like telling a smoker to quit smoking. They have to decide they're going to change something on their own, really.
That's right. Yeah, if you go up to a smoker and you simply tell them that, hey, you know, I don't like smoking, that isn't going to get them to change. They have to make up their mind, and weight loss is the same thing. Is that they have to make up their mind that they're gonna lose weight.
Yeah, it's a personal decision that we all strive to get to.
Yeah, you know, and so normally everybody starts talking about weight loss the 1st of January.
Yeah. Because of their New Year's resolution.
New Year's resolution. I mean, you look at like the gym right down the street here. They put out big signs along the side of the road. You know, right before the New Year, usually the week before New Year's, they'll put a sign out: join now. You know, no membership fee for to join, and they get a ton of people to join. And what is it like? 60% of people who join. After a month or two, quit going.
Right. That's true.
And they feel good about having a membership, but they don't really use the membership.
Is that what it is?
Right. By the end of February, 8 weeks into it, I think it's close to 80% of people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a big thing, and so we're hoping that for all of you folks that are listening, maybe listening to the recording of this, that maybe you'll pick up some tips on what you can do to make it so that weight loss works for you. So this is the last time, because the problem with weight loss is when you do this yo-yo diet that most people do, it gets harder and harder and harder to do. I mean, I know it gets harder to lose weight when you failed 2 or 3 times before.
Right, that's true.
Because your body's hanging on to it, and because it thinks that you're just going to go through another starvation period. So let's hang on to it a little bit more.
Right.
So today, Andrea, I want to talk a little bit about complications caused by being overweight. So let's look at something here. I have a page that I brought up that I wanted to share. Can you see that?
Health risk of being overweight.
From the National Institutes of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. Mm-hmm. National Institutes of Health. Right?
Right.
So it's a good source. I mean, if you can trust them, I mean, it's probably one of the places that I could say we could trust. So what kinds of health problems are linked to overweight and obesity? Excess weight may increase the risk for health problems, including type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, certain types of cancer, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, fatty liver disease, kidney disease, and problems during pregnancy.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
So
pretty serious stuff too.
Yeah, so they're using the body mass index, which, I mean, it's okay. It's a good tool, but I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate. You take somebody like myself, I've got large bones, large frame, and the BMI isn't going to be totally accurate.
Right.
There's other ways of measuring it, but it's a good way to start, and probably probably a majority of people, the BMI is accurate. Waist size, being too fat across the middle. And so you look at the BMI. Your target is 18.5 to 24.9.
Mm-hmm.
Waist size, men less than 40 inches. Hey, I got that one.
Awesome.
My BMI, I'm not in line there, but my waist size, I'm in there. Blood pressure, boy, I tell you what, since I made these changes in my diet, my blood pressure has been running really, really good. I mean, actually, so good that I had to check to see if this monitor was working. I got one of these Fitbit types of things.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, let's look right now and just see, where am I at? So my blood pressure right now, give it a second. This is after drinking coffee, right? 128/70.
That's pretty good.
Right? The lower number, that's the pressure that's in your pipes all the time. And the 128, that's the pressure when your heart's beating, when it's squeezing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had my LDLs, my HDLs got checked, and they were within normal limits. My triglycerides were within normal limits. The blood sugar, it was a little bit elevated that day, but it was right after I'd gotten back from Europe, so I'm gonna blame it on that. But I'm still assuming that it was off, and so I've changed my diet to help lower my blood sugars as well.
Yeah, and our diet has a lot to do with this. I had my triglycerides checked after I did a whole summer of remodeling, where I was just busy all day long, didn't take time to eat right. If I got hungry, I'd run up to McDonald's and grab a burger or something. This was back in 2007. By the end of the summer, I had gone to a doctor and got my lab work done. My triglycerides were almost up to 400.
Holy crap.
I know, right? I was like, whoa, what did that? And then I thought about it and I went, oh, because I ate crap all summer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You eat food that's not healthy, and it's going to have an effect. So they say that type 2 diabetes, it's when the blood sugar levels are too high, and it's a major cause of heart disease, kidney disease, stroke, amputation, and blindness. It was the 7th leading cause of death in the United States in 2009.
Yeah, it's serious.
If you've got, what do they say, Northern European heritage, Irish, Native American, and they listed a lot of others, but those 3 are the primary ones. If you've got any of that heritage, you've got this thrifty genotype, they call it. And what it means is that when you're exposed, when you eat excess sugar, your body is really good at storing it away. And that's why those people, those ethnic groups tend to have more problems with type 2 diabetes.
Hmm.
Right. And then they say here, the United States type 2 diabetes is more common among Blacks, Latinos, and Americans. Right. Wow. Yeah, because when you look at the thrifty genotype, it was linked to those who have gone through a great famine. So they talk about being overweight. Go ahead.
The Irish famine.
Yeah. So insulin resistance, where the blood sugar can't be taken up by itself. I always tell people that, think of it like this. If you've got kids and you've allowed them to stay up late at night, maybe over the Christmas holidays, they've been staying up to midnight, and all of a sudden, the new year rolls around and you're getting them back into the regular schedule of going to bed early, they're going to fight you for a while. And that's kind of what insulin resistance really is that your cells aren't listening anymore. You can tell them, hey, go to bed, it's past your bedtime, school night, and they aren't listening.
Right.
And so they don't respond to the sugar, or to the insulin. And so if you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you want to look at what can you do to prevent it. So that's what we're going to talk about, folks. High blood pressure. Well, I tell you what, high blood pressure is one of the major causes of kidney failure. And I think we reported it on here, what was it, the beginning of last summer, that they're saying that what the percentage is of people who are going to have kidney failure, kidney disease in the United States. And it was way high.
Right. And you really want to prevent that because the medical community has no solutions for that whatsoever.
No, they want to put you on dialysis right away. Mm-hmm. Heart disease, heart attacks, abnormal rhythms. It's the leading cause of death in the United States, according to this article. Now, last year, I think, or 2017, cancer actually surpassed heart disease. But so strokes, ischemic strokes, that's when blood clots break loose in the artery and they go to the brain and cause lack of blood flow into the certain areas of the brain. And they say strokes are related to weight because it causes high blood pressure, and then that's going to cause these plaques to build up in the arteries, and then the blood pressure is going to break that plaque loose. Cancer, there's certain types of cancer that are related to weight, being overweight. And it talks about liver. We're going to talk a little bit about liver because there's some things that really are related to the liver. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is really on the rise in the Western countries, not just United States, but all across the globe. Anybody that has that follows the Western diet, kind of. Sleep apnea. When you get overweight, your neck becomes smaller. Your neck becomes bigger, but the airway becomes smaller, and it causes you can't sleep. Inflammation, and you have a lack of oxygen while you sleep, and that's increases your risk of dementia. Remember when we talked about that?
Yep.
I don't remember what the risk factor.
It's actually damaging to all of your organs. I mean, you're having a lack of oxygen.
Lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
Osteoarthritis, common weight problem because you're carrying all that extra weight on your joints. I mean, I can tell since my motorcycle wreck, I'm carrying this extra weight, and I feel it in my legs, I feel it in my knees, I feel it in my back. Mm-hmm. Fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, causes severe liver damage, liver failure, and it's linked to eating lots of sugars. And you know what, Andrea, if your liver's not functioning right, what happens is everything that you consume, all the food that you consume, all the liquids that you consume, the medications that you consume, the supplements you consume, if they're absorbed anywhere in the esophagus, in the mouth, if it's absorbed in the stomach, if it's absorbed in the intestines, before it can be used in your body, it runs through the liver. And so if you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, your liver is going to get overworked. And then as a result, because it's being overworked, it's so busy working on all these other things. Not only is it going to cause problems with the liver, but if the liver's not functioning properly, it's not going to detoxify.
Right.
So it's going to increase your risk of cancer, kidney disease, when you have problems with, having to remove too much waste from the kidneys, blood pressure, those types of things. That's how the kidney is related. And that's going to cause problems with the health, problems with pregnancy. So here's an article from Wikipedia, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's from excessive fat buildup in the liver caused by insulin resistance. Mm-hmm. And so they say being overweight is the strongest risk factor of NAFLD, which is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Other risks include metabolic syndromes like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, a diet high in fructose.
Right.
Fructose.
Sugar is sugar.
Fruit sugar, yeah. But when you buy sugar from the store, Crystal Sugar or whatever other brand it is, they're making it mostly, at least in this part of the country, it's mostly coming from sugar beets, and everybody's familiar with high fructose corn syrup, but they're not aware that sugar beets sugar is also high in fructose.
Yeah, it's also high in GMO, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you're going into Christmas season and you make a lot of Christmas cookies, a lot of baking, like a lot of people do around the holidays, a lot of people are using sugar that they don't realize that it's high in fructose, and because it's sugar beet sugar, and they have to actually go looking for organic cane sugar if they want to have real sugar.
Right.
And so anyhow, I just wanted to throw that in there, but that's what they say there. So, Andrea, the complications should be enough to get you to want to get your weight under control, shouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. About 2.5 weeks ago, minus, the holiday in there, I started my diet, right after I got back from Europe. I started this diet. I'm trying to eat fish twice a week. I'm trying to eat red meat just twice a week. I'm trying to eat vegetable protein just twice a week. And then I'm giving myself one free day, not a free day to strap on the food bag and eat, but a free day to decide what I want to eat. Man, maybe I want to eat fish. Maybe I want to eat vegetable protein. Maybe I want to eat red meat. It'll be my day to decide what I want to do.
Okay.
And like last night, that was my free day for this week, because I cooked up, it was my dad's 82nd birthday, and then my future daughter-in-law's birthday as well. We celebrated that last night. And so I cooked up some buffalo, which is really lean, by the way. It's considered to be one of the healthiest red meats. And then I cooked up some salmon, and I cooked up some swordfish, and I cooked up some tuna. So we had a variety of meat.
That's cool.
Yeah, plus a little vegetable protein as well with the vegetables that I cooked up. But so last night I considered it to be my free day. But the other thing that I'm doing is I'm doing intermittent fasting, which we've talked about 2 weeks ago. Or no, it was last week we talked about intermittent fasting, wasn't it?
Yeah, we talked about it more last week than the week before.
Yeah. So as people move into weight loss, and maybe we should say weight management rather than weight loss, but I think most of us need to have weight loss first before we're going to have weight management, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense to become educated and really figure out, what are you going to do? What's your plan? How are you going to attack this thing? And learn, maybe some downfalls. Like, somebody yesterday, Andrea, she told me, she said that if she doesn't eat every 3 or 4 hours, she gets really dizzy and lightheaded. Have you heard that before?
No.
Every 3 or 4 hours, and like a hypoglycemia.
Oh, okay.
And her doctors told her that she's pre-diabetic.
Okay.
Right? Pre-diabetic. And I know her. She's, she's not tiny or anything like that, but you wouldn't think she's overweight enough to be where you'd say diabetic, but the doctors have told her that. And so they've told her that she needs to eat every 3 or 4 hours.
Well, of course, because, that would cause an insulin release, and you just wear the pancreas out a little bit more that way. That's
right. But think about it, at night, are you getting up every 3 or 4 hours and eating?
No.
So chances are she's sleeping 8 hours. So that means her body can go 8 hours without having to eat. So I just told her, I said, well, why don't you just take and extend that 8 hours, try and go 9 hours. Like when you get up in the morning and you've slept 8 hours, skip an hour, don't eat.
Right.
That's intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And then once your body gets used to that, and you know that you've told yourself you can handle it, increase it to 10 hours. Don't eat until 10 o'clock in the morning. Then increase it to 11 hours, increase it to 12 hours, and so if you go to bed at midnight and you don't eat till noon.
Mm-hmm. That's a good plan. I think people just fall into the trap of eating certain things like sugar, and then they're sugar burners. And I think they kind of get trapped in that. And then because when you're a sugar burner, your body runs out of fuel really fast.
That's right.
So then you have to stick something else in there.
Sugar only has 4 calories per gram.
Right. Where healthy fats have 9.
9 calories per gram. And proteins only have 4 calories per gram as well.
Yep.
So and everything has to be turned into sugar before we can burn it as fuel. So the fats, they have to be converted down, and maybe that's why, like these keto diets work, because so many people, they actually have to convert the fat into a usable fuel.
Maybe. I thought it turned into ketones. I thought the fat turned into ketones.
The fat doesn't turn into ketones.
No. Tell me about it.
No. Ketones are actually produced when your body starts burning protein as energy.
Really?
Yeah, that's why when you take a look at, remember the Atkins diet?
Yeah.
Remember Atkins diet? Big fad diet, about 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, I considered it like lightweight keto, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought too. And a lot of people, they kind of think that the keto diet is just a form of the Atkins diet, which it probably is. But the Atkins diet really wasn't designed as a weight loss diet, right? Do you remember that?
Not too much, because I didn't pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about losing weight. I was already worrying about it back then. But the Atkins diet was designed as a diet to help people with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, okay.
And what they said is that they want your body to go into ketosis. Mm-hmm. And so you'd go to the local drugstore and you could buy the keto sticks over the counter, and you'd put your body into ketosis, and you'd monitor it to keep your body in ketosis by eating protein.
Oh, mostly protein.
So you'd eat protein, high protein. The problem with eating high protein was that you could, for certain people, they could overload the kidneys with the protein.
Hard on the kidney.
Hard on the kidneys, right? And like we talked about earlier, the National Kidney Foundation, or the American Kidney Foundation, has said that kidney disease is going to affect a lot of people.
Right.
It already does, but they're saying it's gonna get substantially worse.
Well, there's dialysis clinics all over the place.
Popping up all over the place, isn't it?
Yep.
So anyhow, that's that. But so as we look at this, what's the best thing, for everybody? Is there any magic bullet?
Well, I think the magic bullet is self-control and will and mental. It's like when I want to go into a program where I'm going to do something to change behavior, it's like you have to get there mentally. It's like this little switch that goes off, and you finally go, yes, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And nothing's going to stop me, and you're going to do it. But how do people get to that point? I think you have to take in enough influencing information to make you make that switch.
Yeah.
So like what you're sharing today, this is some influencing information. Who wants to live with kidney disease? Who wants to live on dialysis? Who wants to shoot themselves with insulin every day? Who wants to be overweight to the point where you just feel horrible? And it's harder to function in life, you know, just to go through your day. So you have to maybe indulge your mind in some ways you could either do it negatively or positively. You could, and it depends on where your state of mind is. Like, to do it positively, it might be hard, because if you looked at inspiration things of, you know, losing weight and being healthy, it might defeat you. But if you, on the other side, if you look at the negative stuff where you're looking at what's my future going to look like, you know, which path am I headed on, that might influence you more to, you know, make that switch and go, I'm going to definitely do this. Yeah, I have a friend, I posted a photo this week on Facebook, and it was a picture of a guy, and his face was kind of heavy. He was inflamed, basically. And then the next picture of him, his face was much slender. He looked younger. And he said, and it said, what 28 days of no alcohol will do for you.
Mm-hmm.
It was drastic change. And, you know, because typically people who drink, there's a lot of inflammation going on. And my friend posted back to me and said, I have seen this picture 2 or 3 times this year, and I finally saw it like recently. And he says, I've been 30 days without alcohol, and I haven't seen that great of a difference in my, you know, my appearance as this picture shows. But he says, I've saved a whole lot of money and I feel better, you know.
Good.
So it's like, so that was kind of an influencing thing in his life. He saw that and he went, yeah, I want to change that, you know. So I think the absolute biggest thing is you have to decide you want to change.
That is the biggest factor, because what is the saying is that you're going to stay the same until the fear of change is less than the fear of staying the same.
Yep, that's true.
Isn't that some I mean, it's some version of how I said that?
Yep.
You gotta get to where changing is less scary than staying where you're at.
And so what we have to, I have to, you have to, everyone has to do is find those things that will help you create that change. You can't just like sit back and go, okay, I'm going to try and change and do nothing. You have to find some influential information or some inspirational information that's going to make you go, yep, I want to do that.
That's right. That's right. You know, and so we're, you know, so folks, those of you that are listening, I mean, we're having this discussion because here on the Doctor's Clinic, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you so that you take a look at it now. You know, it's 2 weeks, you know, 3 weeks, I guess, is going to be the new year. And a lot of people are going to choose New Year's resolutions. One of us been weight loss. And within 8 weeks after that, 80 to 90% of people are going to fall off their own wagon and they're going to give up. They're going to say, well, I'll try it again next year. Other people will make it a short time and they'll lose some weight. And, you know, they show that if you got to lose a lot of weight, losing that first 20 or 30 pounds is actually the easiest because there's a lot of water weight. But they show that if you're going to keep your weight off, the weight loss program that you need to be on to keep the weight off is that if you want to hit your goal weight, and let's say I want to hit 180 pounds, okay? So that 10 pounds between 180 and 190, when I get down to 190, chances are that's where that, even if everything has gone great for me, when I hit that 190, that's where I'm going to fail. And the reason why is because on average with most weight loss programs, they show that you should lose about, 2 pounds per week.
I would think so. Yeah.
If you're doing it accurately. But when you get down to the last 10 pounds, is good. If you're doing it right, is going to take 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months. And so if you're used to losing 2 pounds per week, and all of a sudden you're losing 3 pounds per month, and that's the normal weight loss, all of a sudden you're going to go, holy cow, this isn't working for me, because you're going to jump on the scale, once a week, and you're going to go, well, I didn't even lose a pound this week. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're losing 3 pounds per month, that's about 3/4 of a pound of weight per month. And some bathroom scales won't even measure that.
Right. So don't get discouraged.
Don't get discouraged, and plan on it. Plan on it taken when you get down to the last 10 pounds. Or let's say that some people who only want to lose 10 pounds. That's going to take 2 to 3 months to do that. And that's where they typically give up. So if we can give you this information for those that are listening, give you the information now so that when you get on your weight loss program, that you're going to stick by it. So, Andrea, here in the next 5 minutes, I notice we're down to the bottom of the hour already. So as we talk about this, let's give some people some tips as far as like, what products do we use? So we've talked about kidney disease. Mm-hmm. And I think that not only by changing your diet, getting rid of the sugars in your diet, but I think one or two of the products that I really feel that are helpful in supporting a healthy kidney, and then we have to say it that way, we're not treating kidney disease, but we're supporting a healthy kidney. There was a good article that came out last year in the Science. It said that Courtin helps with kidney disease.
Right. Yep.
And it gets rid of inflammation. And so if it helps with kidney disease and it gets rid of inflammation, like we were just talking about with the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, mm-hmm. which is caused by eating too much sugar, wouldn't it be beneficial for that as well?
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, I take Courtin every day. I love it for its immunity benefits.
That's right.
And its inflammation. I can tell, like the very first time I ever drank Courtin, I could tell it got rid of inflammation in my body that day. Mm-hmm.
Tom had a post on Facebook this morning. Did you see that? That, he buys his Courtin, his seaweed, directly from the divers who go collecting it in the bottom of the ocean right off the island of Tonga. And the Queen of Tonga actually gave Tom an island.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Surrounded by Courtin.
Huh?
Surrounded by seaweed.
Yeah. So he's the king of his own island.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So anyhow, we don't want that to go to his head though, because he's already thinks he's, just kidding. I can give him a hard time because he gives me a hard time. Yeah, you can,
because he picks on you all the time.
Right. But, so we want to get rid of inflammation. It's going to help the kidneys. It's going to help the liver. It's going to help lower your risk of strokes. It's going to help lower your risk of heart disease. So the Courtin is great. Super Omega Plus, another great product because it uses the omega-3. Omega-3 is EPA, DHA. EPA is one of the oils that gets rid of inflammation as well.
Right.
And, I started taking a double dose of the Super Omega because after you and I talked about it on this call for how many weeks did we talk about that, right? I decided that, maybe I'm not getting enough.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm not getting enough. So I started taking more. And why is our product, do you remember when we talked about it? Do you remember why our product, the Super Omega, is better than, say most of the other Omega products on the market?
Well, we have a combination of fats in our product, which is better than just say taking flaxseed oil or fish oil or something like that.
Right.
I don't know what you're getting at, but.
Yeah. So certain things like say krill oil is better for the brain. It's better for helping with the brain with the DHA. and then say fish oil. And fish oil is better than flaxseed oil because flaxseed oil is not going to have the right oils. It's not going to have the combination. And so for people who are vegans, people who are vegetarian, they're going to have a lot harder time getting those right oils. And so, if they just say, well, I'm vegan, but I'm gonna make an exception. I'm going to take this fish oil product. I mean, it would be a wise choice for them. And so I like that. But the fish oil, it does help with inflammation. Another product that we want to look at is the Eternity product.
Yes.
Yeah, because the Eternity helps with cardiovascular health, helps with arteries, it supports a healthy artery. We have to say it that way. Helps support healthy arteries because of the resveratrol. Curcumin, which is found in our Brain Vitality product, it's found in our Encompass 360. It's found in our Renovator product. That helps with inflammation as well. And that's going to help. It's going to help close up some of the holes that have been blown in the gut by gluten and glyphosate, Roundup.
Right. And that's important. Very important.
And, Andrea, 3 weeks ago when I started on this diet, just to get myself so that I could get used to it, I started really using my Sizzling again.
Right. We have that Sizzling.
Because
Sizzling, the chocolate flavor, that's a really good product to have on hand when you're craving a candy bar.
Right?
Yep. I learned that the other night. I'm like, oh, I need chocolate. I don't want to drive to town. And I went, oh, I've got Sizzling. I'll drink some of that.
Chances are, Andrea, you could take that Sizzling, and once you make it, I bet you could freeze it and have popsicles.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Right? If you want to have so you can trick your brain into you really having a treat rather than a health product. But I find it fills me up. I can have one for breakfast. I'm good. Yesterday I went until 6:00 last night without eating anything because of a Sizzling Shake that I had in the morning.
Well, I tend to put a little half scoop in my Sizzle coffee to make it more like mocha.
Do you? Yeah. I don't know. I've tried it. I really didn't like it, but
I did. But I'm an alcoholic, so.
And the vanilla is good too. The vanilla is really excellent. A lot of people like it because they can throw it in their veggie mixers or whatever, and they can throw in some blueberries and some strawberries, whatever, bananas, and they can make more of a smoothie. Yeah.
Right.
I wore out my little blender thing and my bullet, I guess a NutriBullet or whatever it was, and I haven't replaced it. Good idea for a Christmas present if you're thinking about getting me a Christmas present, Andrea.
You need the bullet.
Yep, I don't have one anymore. It wore out. So that's a great product. And just like we talked about, the Spectrum Max, the Encompass 360, great products because chances are when you're cutting back on what you're eating, you're going to be nutritionally deficient on something.
Yep.
So Encompass 360 on Spectrum Max, great products for that.
360 for those who have never, tuned into us before, that's kind of like your multivitamin product.
That's right.
Much more effective and higher quality.
Yeah, the Spectrum Max, 74 trace minerals, 40 antioxidants. I mean, it's just jam packed full of nutrients. And then we talk about fire and iced tea. Kind of throw some fuel on that fire. Bump up the thermogenics in your body.
Yeah, it's thermogenic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great product for that. And hydrogen water. You get that hydrogen. So I've seen a lot of people mixing their hydrogen water with their fire and iced tea.
Yeah. I think, hydrogen water is so fabulous because you have a whole lot of people out there who want to do things healthier. So they've dropped out of drinking sodas. They're not drinking things that have aspartame in them because they've learned that that's like doesn't even get absorbed in the body and causes problems. So we have a whole lot of people out there who are like, I'm just drinking water. That's all I'm drinking. Well, why not drink some of the best water in the entire world? Like throw a little packet of minerals in there and turn that into hydrogen water. And it's less than a cup of coffee from a gas station, for Pete's sakes, and do that do it twice a day, like you were discussing with someone about the importance of drinking a full glass of water every morning before you eat or drink anything else. And if you did that with hydrogen water, oh my gosh, hydrogen goes right to the middle of every nucleus. Like it can go right into the nucleus of your cells and clean toxins out. How healthy can you be drinking hydrogen water every day?
That's right. Andrea, that's a great idea. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna bring some of the H2 sticks up to my bathroom upstairs, and every morning before I brush my teeth, before I take my shower, I'll have a hydrogen water.
Yep.
I'll report back to you. I'll tell you how it does for me.
Okay, that sounds great.
So, all right. Well, it's 11:40, 12:40 where you are. Let's close out the call for today. And I know there's so many more things that we'd like to talk about today. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about these things next week again. We'll discuss weight loss more, and maybe we'll bring a couple testimonials on next week.
That's a great idea.
Maybe I can get Jimmy O'Keefe on here.
Okay.
He's got a great story. Great story. So anyhow, Andrea, if you want to go ahead and close out the call.
Yeah, thank you folks for tuning in. And if you're seeing this as, just a recorded live on our Facebook page, Doctor's Clinic, Doc Fizz with Friends, just scroll on back. You can see any of the past recordings that we've done there and share it with your friends. We talk about many different health topics and offer solutions that are non-toxic and natural. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, Doc.